There's probably no one who hasn't heard of the Zodiac, and in case someone doesn't, the Zodiac is an elusive serial killer who operated on the outskirts of California in the late 60s and early 70s. The Zodiac, as he called himself, was one of the most mysterious serial killers in the history of the United States, and perhaps the world. He made the whole country talk about him. The media and the news only heard Zodiac, Zodiac, Zodiac. The thing is that after several brutal crimes, he started playing with the police, sending encrypted letters, making demands, and constantly laughing at the helplessness of the detectives. "The police will never catch me because I'm too smart for them," Zodiac said, and he was right in the end. He claimed to have committed 37 murders, but no one ever caught him. In addition, for 51 years, the world's best cryptographers could not decipher his messages, but in 2021, a group of American researchers, the Case Breakers, announced that they had managed to identify the legendary maniac. I wonder who was hiding behind the Zodiac's identity, and what is written in his letter decrypted 51 years later. Make yourself comfortable, friends, and I'll tell you. In the late 60s, several similar murders took place in Northern California, and it looked like they were committed by the same person. It all started in the city of Vallejo on 20th of December 1968, when an unknown gunman shot a couple in love right in their car, David Arthur Faraday and Betty Lau Jensen. There were no witnesses, no evidence, and the killer was never caught. 6 months later, a similar crime happened. Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mago parked their car in the Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo. When another car came to the park and parked behind them, a man got out of the car, shining a flashlight in the faces of the young couple, then pulled out a gun and started shooting them at point-blank range, then got back in the car and drove away as if nothing had happened. Darlene Ferrin died on the spot, and Michael was the lucky one, miraculously, to survive. A few hours later, the police department received a call. An unknown person reported the crime. The man did not identify himself, but added that he had committed all these murders. As you already guessed, it was Zodiac. In addition, the letters were partially encrypted, and the killer demanded that these ciphers be placed on the front pages of the newspapers within 24 hours. Otherwise, he promised to kill 12 more people. According to the killer, his identity was encrypted in the letter so that journalists would have no doubt that the author was the real killer, and he provided several details that only the police could know about. At the end of each letter was left a peculiar signature, a circle crossed with a cross, which later became the Zodiac's trademark. The journalists, in order not to take any risks, published a quarter of the letter, while the best FBI encryptors were unable to crack the cryptogram. A week later, the editorial office received a new letter that began as follows. "This is the Zodiac speaking." This letter was also partially encrypted. Oddly enough, the police were again powerless. An ordinary married couple, a school teacher and his wife Donald and Betty Harden, helped to solve the cipher. Here's what was encrypted in the letter. "I like to kill people because it's fun. It's even more fun than killing game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal. Killing all of them gave me an exciting experience. It's better than a girl. The best part is that when I die, I will be reborn in paradise, and everyone I killed will be my slaves. I will not give you my name, because you will try to stop me from collecting slaves for my afterlife." Zodiac's subsequent antics made him the talk of every home in America, and he continued to commit crimes with impunity while openly mocking the police. After he got tired of writing scary letters, he began sending his movie reviews to the editorial office, hinting at new crimes, also criticizing and praising the work of detectives. Once, Zodiac was able to spread panic in the whole city by promising to shoot a wheel in a school bus, and when children started to get out of it, do the same with them. Later, he asked all the residents of San Francisco to wear clothes with Zodiac badges, and the criminal was having the time of his life. The game continued for 5 years. In 1974, Zodiac took on several more crimes and claimed to have killed 37 people. After that, messages from the elusive maniac stopped coming, and he disappeared without a trace. leaving detectives only his encrypted letters, one of which was only solved in 2020. For many years, the best cryptographers in the world worked on the letter, which was called Cipher 340, but it took 51 years to solve the riddle. Programmers from Virginia, David Orangek, Sam Blake, and Jar Van Eyck, worked on deciphering the cipher for 8 months and tried more than 650,000 possible solutions. But in the end, they managed to turn the symbols into words and the words into sentences using a program. Here's what it said. I hope you're having fun looking for me. I was not the one on the TV show where they talked about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to heaven even faster. Now I have enough slaves who will work for me. They will work for me while others have nothing when they get to heaven because they are afraid of death. But I am not afraid because I know my new life will be easy after the paradise death. For many years, the police had no clues against Zodiac, but eventually enough evidence was gathered, and some of his victims even managed to survive. Despite the fact that the police had a sketch of the suspect, fingerprints, and several victims, the killer has not yet been caught. Compared to other serial killers, Zodiac's portfolio is very modest. Although the criminal claimed to have killed 37 people, the police officially confirmed only 7 attacks, 5 of which ended in murder. For many years, the main suspect was Arthur Leac Len, but there was no direct evidence, but the police simply had to catch someone. In 1974, Arthur was sent to a psychiatric hospital where he spent 3 years, but later, due to insufficient evidence, he was released after completing his treatment. In 2021, the community of American detectives, the Case Breakers, which includes more than 40 experts, including former FBI agents, police officers, and journalists, stated that the identity of the most mysterious maniac of the 20th century has been established. According to their version, it turned out to be the painter Gary Francis Post, who died in 2018 at the age of 80. There are really more than enough arguments, judge for yourself. It will be superfluous to talk about the external similarity. It is obvious, the scars on the forehead exactly match the scars drawn on the sketch of Zodiac, and the name Gary Francis is the key to deciphering the killer's mysterious messages, and knowing this name, the letters take on their true meaning. Going further, in 1966, the police found a wristwatch stained with paint near the crime scene. Gary worked as a painter all his life, and traces of the Zodiac Killer were found at the scene. Traces of army boots were found. Gary Francis Post was a veteran of the Air Force. Gary Post's colleagues and acquaintances unanimously stated that now the picture in their minds was formed. Jerry was indeed a cruel man who suffered from mental disorders and was ideally suited to the role of Zodiac. Do you think this evidence is enough? What does your intuition tell you? Is Gary Francis Post the Zodiac? Write in the comments. Nevertheless, the FBI police did not support the detective's version, saying that the case is still open. By the way, on March 1st, 2007, the premiere of the movie Zodiac took place, and I recommend it to those who have not watched it. Another interesting point, everyone who came to the movie was handed a card with a question about why the Zodiac kills, and everyone had to fill it out. The expectation was that he would attend the screening, and they would be able to trace him by his handwriting. Of course, it was in vain, so who knows? Perhaps the most mysterious maniac of the 20th century is still alive, and right now in his chair, enjoying the old days. Here's another theory that has a right to exist. A woman from California, Deborah Perez, recently claimed that her father, Guy Ward Hendrickson, who died in 1993, was the notorious killer Zodiac. Perez claims that she was a little girl when her father committed the murders and helped him by writing some of the letters he sent to mock the police. She also claims to have embroidered the mask her father used during the murders, and to have seen scrapbook clippings that indicated he killed between 30 and 40 people. Her lawyer, Kevin McLean, conducted a 2-year investigation into Perez's claims and believes that her father, who did have a tendency towards violence was the Zodiac. Deborah announced that she had provided police with evidence that she believed was relevant to the Zodiac case. She gave investigators a pair of glasses that she believed belonged to Paul Listine, the taxi driver killed by Zodiac, as well as letters she had written to the newspaper on behalf of her father. San Francisco homicide detectives are currently investigating the information provided by the woman and are looking into the death of taxi driver Paul Listine, and the investigation is ongoing. She said that before he died, he apologized for doing bad things, but she didn't know what he meant at the time. Do you think Deborah is honest, or is it just another hype? Write your opinion in the comments. That's the story, friends. Thank you for watching this video to the end. I recommend watching my other videos on this channel. Who forgot to like the video, there is still time to do it. See you soon.